project, and how do they associate with our objective, strategy, and mission. So test mission is the what part of a test project. Typically, it is the overarching goal for the whole test team. So let us say there's a porting project, and the idea is that to make sure that the ported features are working as they were in the earlier platform. So let us say the application was designed for Windows platform, and then it is to be ported on the Linux version. So the overarching test mission could be the Linux version should work just like Windows version, or it could be that no high priority bug should be experienced by the customer in the shipping version. There could be different priority reports generated by the customers bugs, but the mission is that, let's say in high priority, high, medium, low, very low, so there should be no issue which is a very high priority reported by the customer. That could be one of the test mission. Now, so it can vary from team to team, and they have to see various aspects of the project, typically from the point of view of the end customer, and what are the needs or the problems that they're trying to solve in that, and how stringent they have to be in some areas or not in some areas, and accordingly have that broad mission. So if you typically look again at some of the manufacturing setups, for example, and the quality practices over there, so there is a very popular concept of zero defect shipments. So zero defect shipments are that they define various categories of defects, and then for a particular category, if that defect is there, then the whole lot gets rejected. It will not be sent out to the customers. So that could be some kind of a test mission. Now, why we are doing this? We have certain quality targets, and each and every organization again defines what their quality targets are, and then keeping in mind various objectives. So the quality targets are let's say subset of the mission, and then the test policy would define the objectives of the whole exercise, that why we need to do this. So one of the primary reasons is that we want to detect bugs and defects in the software product, that is the software module that is getting built up, and the other objective is that once you detected is you have to generate pick up this raw data and generate information and share it with the relevant stakeholders, and then whatever risks that are discovered, how do you go about managing that? So that has to be defined in the test policy. And then the test policy will also cover that what are the processes that we need to follow and why we want to have those processes. These processes could be how to why do we need to capture the customer reports, or why do we need to do a pre-release that is a beta release to the customers, or why do we need to do peer reviews. So things like that. And then for various items mentioned over here, in order to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of testing, we need to measure them, because as the adage goes, you can't improve it if you can't measure it, and matrices come very handy for that purpose. So a test policy can say why we want to use certain matrices and what efficiency and effectiveness of testing we want to measure through this. And the test strategy is broadly the how part. that is, how we are going to achieve our test mission and policy. And there are various methods and approaches to this. So for example, quality goals and metrics driven is could be one of the test strategy that we'll set quality goals and define matrices and use that as a test strategy. And I'll discuss it in little detail in my presentation. Risk base could be another one. That is, you classify each and every item in terms of the risk associated, and there are various techniques to measure the risk associated with different items, and then accordingly you prioritize the test execution activities for that. And also, as you go along, depending on the course of the project, how the risk levels are changing, so accordingly prioritization could be done. And then experience based, that you have people in the team who have experience on delivering on these software modules, and based on their judgment you strategize from time to time the how part. If we take academically, the approaches can be classified broadly into two categories, preventive and reactive. Preventive is that you plan in advance in order to make sure that you don't get into traps. And reactive is that some unplanned thing came up, right, and you did not foresee it, right? So and then so for example, let's say you are doing a mobile application development, and suddenly a new architecture or device came up, or you were not aware of it, and the management decision was to include that in your rollout strategy. That is, they are going to support the platform and device. Now, so that at that point of time, it will be a reactive strategy. And further adding on to it, they can be classified into analytic and risk type, or model driven, that you have standard models to follow. For example, let's say it could be for example, services follow a CMM model, like that. Or methodological, that is, you have a set of checklists against which you keep on checking and making sure that you are following the strategy. Or it could be standard compliant. So for example, your test planning would be on the lines of IEEE 829 standard, things like that. And then other could be dynamic and heuristic, in the sense that you don't have a very formal process in place for test planning, but depending upon the various people in your team, you leave it up to them to get started, and then as and when various situations arise in the due course of testing, then they figure out at that point of time what to do. So so for example, let's say for 3 days, if the build was failing, and then you have lost 3 days of testing, now how do you cover up for that? So is it you reduce the scope, or is it that you put in extra hours? But it's pretty much nothing formal or documented. You just go along with the general kind of common sense of the team. Consultative, again, that you consult various people across the board, right? Or you can have a panel of people you consult for various issues, and then accordingly move forward. And regression is that at each and every stage, how much you want to devote towards regression. So that's pretty much the various types of strategies. Of course, it has to cover in detail the various risks, and the risks are primarily of two categories. One is a product risk, and another is a project risk. So product risk comes more from a point of view of that, let's say there was bad quality of code that was written. So the number of bugs that you were expecting is much higher than you what anticipated, and hence the time estimate that you did for finding bugs, logging bugs and closure of the bugs is, let's say, almost double of what you anticipated. So that's a product risk. Project risk is like, a management decision to add another platform for test coverage without extending the final shipping date. These kind of things. Entry exit criteria are again, what is getting covered into the test strategy. That is, for each and every milestone, what is your entry criteria and what is your exit criteria. So whether it is alpha or a beta or GM, or if you are following an agile model, that at various various milestone, so for each sprint, what is your entry criteria and what is your exit criteria, and accordingly, based on the exit criteria, you will you will allocate the story points for the stories that you were implementing in that particular